Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry upper deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. McKenna Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, McKenna Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, McKenna Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
And welcome in, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, into mmjhl playoff game day on this Sunday afternoon, live from Transcona in East End Arena, as the third seed Transcona Railer Express take on the sixth seed in the St. James Junior Canucks in this best of 7 Elite 8 series. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. We're brought to you by Terrico Goaltenders, McKenna Fasteners and Tools, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As for how this series is played out so far in the 2024-2025 mmjhl postseason, in the race for the Jack McKenzie Trophy, or I should say the quest for the Jack McKenzie Trophy, as this is the updated bracket. Two teams have made their way through already. The Fort Garry Twins and St. Boniface Riels both sweeping their opponents to make it through. The Raiders and Victoria's officially eliminated. Victoria's losing on Thursday to St. Boniface in Game 4, and the Raiders losing on Friday night to the Twins in Game 4. Both games were broadcasted here on G-Show Productions' U-Screen page. Another team that could be punching their ticket into the next round today, the Charleswood Hawks taking on the Stonewall Jets at Eric Hoy. That game coming up very shortly. This, though, the first game of the day on the schedule between the third seed in the Transcona Railer Express and the sixth seed in the defending champion St. James Junior Canucks, as St. James looking for their fourth straight championship this season. But it's going to take a lot of work for them, as this series feels like it's far from over, or it could very well be over in the next two games, as if one of these teams are able to win 2 in a row, they would end up making it through to the next round in this 7-game series. But here's how the standings look so far: the goals for and the goals against for all the teams, their power play percentages, all that good stuff. St. Boniface and Fort Garry, the class of the playoffs right now. We'll see if those teams can carry over their great strong play into the next round. They very well may be facing each other too, depending on what happens in the two series that still remain to be finished. As for today, 2 games coming up. If Charleswood ends up losing to Stonewall, game number 6 would go on Tuesday night, along with the game 6 that's happening no matter what happens in this game this afternoon between the Railer Express and the St. James Junior Canucks. Both game 7s would be played on Friday night if both of these series go the distance. As for the scores so far in these playoffs, to start things off, as you take a look at how the Riels and Twins were able to sweep their opponents in this Elite 8 round of the mmjhl playoffs. As for the most recent game between this series that we're going to be broadcasting today, the Junior Canucks and the Transcona Railer Express. For the Junior Canucks, they kept it close in shots, but ultimately got off to an early 2-goal deficit and weren't really able to make their way back in that game. They ended up giving up a shorthand marker as well, but it's still about slaying the dragon for this Transcona Railer Express team, who will get into their keys to the game in just a moment. As for the Canucks, back to square one. You're back tied in this series. It came down to some moments last game. Of course, that shorthanded goal to put up Transcona by 2 again in that second period ended up being huge, and the Canucks just failed to really capitalize on their chances in game number 4, which got this series squared up again. But as these guys are still the kings, and the king of the jungle is the lion. Thought about the Lion King and the old phrase, Hakuna Matata. No worries so far. You're tied 2-2. You're defending champions. You've been in, well, not in this position before, but you found ways to win many different ways throughout this dynasty run, and I don't think St. James, of course, wants to see it end. So relax. You put up quite a few shots last game. You're tied up in the series once again, and you know what? All the pressure could be on Transcona potentially if they end up losing this game today. They're down 3-2 heading into a game 6 that will be played at Abe McDonald Arena on Tuesday night. That will be played on Abe McDonald on Tuesday night, no matter what. But as for the Railer Express, a statement win in game number 4 after a frustrating game 3, which saw them have 2 goals disallowed in a 3-1 loss. Composure, though, that's going to be the biggest thing in this contest today. Don't get sucked into any BS. You know, if you get down on the scoreboard early, don't get down on yourselves. Know that you have the skill to pull this off against the defending champs, a team that's eliminated Transcona a few times now in the past few years in the mmjhl playoffs. Will this be the year Transcona gets revenge on St. James and makes their way through to the Final Four? It's going to be 2 games at least remaining in this series. This is a crucial game 5. Winner goes up 3-2. Enjoy the game, everybody, here on G Show Productions U-Screen channel. A 4-1 victory for the Transcona Railer Express to tie up this series at 2 apiece on Friday night at Abe McDonald Arena. They're looking for revenge on home ice, as last time they were at home in game number 3, it was the defending champion in the St. James Junior Canucks who were able to beat them 3-1 to take a 2-1 series lead at the time in what was a controversial game. Getting the start today in net for the Railer Express again is going to be Sage Delarone. Logan Enns gets the start again for the Canucks. His third straight now as we're officially underway. This game number 5 on G-Show Productions U-Screen channel on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Thank you for paying the $5 admission fee and watching this one, MMJHL fans. 50% of our profits go back to the MMJHL. As it's sent into the Railer Express zone, Bruchansky up the boards onto Ron Kostic. He tries to flip that past Bruce, but Bruce cuts it off well. Bruchansky now fending off the stick of Kukzak in the neutral zone before dumping it in deep. Kukzak heads off the bench for a change. Takes a bump on his way there from Ko. As it's Caden Osterman who fires that on net, not covered up on an early whistle in favor of the Railers. As the Canucks hunting for that puck early. And for the Canucks, you don't change much, of course. Maybe you get a bit better goaltending in this one, and this helps you out. As goaltending was a big reason, I'd say maybe the main reason why they end up winning game number 3, as this one gets through. Caden Osterman tracks it down, denied by Delarone. Loose puck still out, as Delarone couldn't cover it up. As this flipped out off the stick of Ross, and now to Enerson. Magnus Enerson flips it over the stick, but it's now turned over onto the stick of Chudley. Enerson able to lock this up the boards, gets to Arneson, as Arneson off the boards with the backhand, up to Osterman, who catches up to this. Osterman-ish shot, this time snagged and gloved down by number 29, and Sage Delarone, as he's one of the 2 starting goaltenders in this afternoon's game, brought to you by Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Logan Enns gets the start again on the other side. 17 first period saves in game number 3. Hasn't really faced any chances yet, as the Railers look to get things going. As Trey Sullen played this up to McClure, ahead to Howell as he jumps up into the play into the slot. That fanned on by Turner. Sullen, he just spins and fires this into the corner off the end glass to Howell. Ends up rimming this around. Back to Sullen, takes it on the backhand. Sullen tries to play this down low. Teammate takes a bump along the glass. He gets that to McClure, and Enns start things off, makes it across to make a save with 17:59 remaining. 2 minutes and a second exactly gone in this game so far. So this first period brought to you by Canton Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out at 995 Miltz Drive, or on their website at cancentralsportscards.com for more information today. As that shot from the point turned aside by number 30 in Logan Enns. As a lineup change today for this St. James Junior Canucks squad, as Wyatt Parnell in the lineup. It's an AP player replacing Wyatt Gallagher, who's been an AP in this series. Westwood, that's the team that Parnell plays on. Just got eliminated, the Warriors did, in the high school provincials yesterday. So Justin Steeves, the president of St. James, ends up making the call to bring him up, as they have his rights. And going to be exciting to see him. Supposedly Westwood's franchise record holder for points in a single season. This is Parnell wearing number 10 right now. Physical along the boards, but he gets over to Joe Hansen, who flips this over. Trying to kick it was Phillips, but it skips past him all the way down onto the stick. of Keaton Johnson. Makes his way through. Backhand denied by Jens Johnson, looking for the rebound. It was covered up well enough by Jens. We get a stoppage here. 16:54. Face off to the blocker hand side of ends, won by the Canucks, and now taken by Werfel. Has Kuczek headed to the net. Werfel can't get it there. Good defensive play by Bruchanski to defend off the rush. Net goes off. And we get stoppage and play. Face off coming up in the Transcona end. We still remain scoreless here. Kuczek to take the draw for the Canucks, as both teams set. And one by the Railer Express as McClure plays this across to Selin. Selin makes his way past the blue line, drops this back, but pass misses the initial target. Got to a Railers D-man, but taken away by Romanek. Has Kuczek in that, shoots it instead, denied by Delarone. As the Canucks get this down low, Romanek loses possession of it. Good defensive play by Larkins to shut him down. Close the gap right away. Little saucer pass by Selin into the skate of McClure. Controlled that now over to Bruchanski. Bruchanski, his shot just wide of the net. Rims all the way around to St. Laurent. Goes to McClure over to Howell. His shot low, denied by Ends. Rebound there, cleared away by the Canucks. Howell just holds the line. That long shot denied again, this time by the blocker of Ends. As this, all the way to Romanek, stretched up, puts on the brakes upon entry, fends off a check now, tries to get that over to a teammate, but picked off. Tyson Pruden decides to send this all the way in deep, ends out of his own net to play that. Gets it to number 27. Height tried to scoop that out along the wall, but unable to, as this gets played around the boards. Now up to Arneson. He gets cut off. Good physical play. As it's sent in deep by Howell. Turnover. That shot turned aside by Ends. It's the St. James goaltender getting more active in terms of the shots he's faced as this period goes along. Still scoreless here in period number 1 of Game 5. Face-off draw tied up in the face-off circle, finally onto the stick of the Canucks as they clear this out. Face-off coming right back up in their end. So another face-off draw, this time won by the Railer Express, and to the point, that tipped wide of the net off the stick of Michael Todoruk. The captain, Vandenbush, plays this back down low to Todoruk as he tries to fend off the check-in of number 27. Is that over to the point, turned aside by Ends again as another face-off coming up inside the Canuck zone. With the Canucks getting fresh sets of legs onto the ice. Same with the Railer Express. It's their top deep pairing in Bruchanski and Larkins back out onto the ice. Shadenough to take the draw against Werfel as Werfel ends up winning that face-off. Tried to rim it around where the Canucks, but not out. For the time being, at least, at that point, as the Canucks do finally get it out after the Railers turned it over. Now back onto the stick of Shadenough. That's turned over to him. He sends it all the way down, no icing on the play. That gets past Johansson's skate onto the other number 11 stick, and Romanek, who plays it to Werfel. That long shot, glove down by Delarone to get a face-off now coming up inside the Railers' end. apologies, it's Madden Parnell, not Wyatt Parnell, who's in the lineup wearing number 10. Steve's trying to inject some more offense into the lineup. It's another reason of why the move gets made against Canucks team that struggled to find offense in game number 4. Is that a huge hit from Shadenough late on number 8 in Ross. The Canucks now breaking it up the other way as past the red line, sent in deep. Delarone out of his net to play it as he plays it over the stick of Height. Now that off the stick of number 26 in Salamacha in the slot as the Railer Express make their way up. That into the slot for number 26 and Johnson as he let a bomb go. Tried to locate number 4 and Sullen backdoor, but that misses. Now it's to Arneson. Tries to dangle his way through. Gets past Hal Todoric, but can't get past Hal as he rubs him out along the board. Sullen catches up to this. Into the neutral zone. Somehow McClure gets to this puck. Now makes his way towards the net. Denied. By-ends on the shot. Number 30 covers things up again with 13:06 remaining in what's been a scoreless first period so far, but both teams have had their chances. The Railer Express have carried most of the play. That's what we mostly saw in the first period of game number 3 as well, as a player got two-handed behind the back and Sullen into the boards. No call. Ends up being okay too, as that happened quite a ways away from the boards there as the Railer Express play this down low in a cycle. Sullen got it over to Turner, but off number 23's stick and turned over, flipped out by the Canucks. Now stretched up ice as that turned aside by Delarone. It skipped all the way into number 29's crease. But in game number 3 of this series, scoreless first period, 17 shots on net for the Railer Express, where that was huge for the Canucks' momentum heading into that next period, and then they were able to capitalize with 2 goals in period 2. They go up 2-0 heading into period number 3. You'd have to think for Ryan Dick and his coaching staff, it could very well be much of the same recipe here tonight if they want to find a win, or in this afternoon's game, as I should say, if they want to find a win. As in last game, when the Railer Express are at their best, they start off with a lead. They start off with a 2-0 lead in game number 4 and ended up winning 4-1. And Abe McDonald in St. James home on Friday night, as Austin Campbell couldn't keep this one and sends it right back in after getting it right back upon the puck exiting the Canucks end. As D-to-D, the Railers go in their own end. Whiteman a bit of trouble with it off the boards, ends up controlling it nicely to get it up. And number 26 and Keaton Johnson in the neutral zone, though, as Whiteman cuts it off just outside the blue line, hits his own teammate, some friendly fire, which ends up resulting in an offside call by the referees. 11:39 remaining here. You're watching mmjhl Game Day Playoff Edition, game number 5 in this Elite 8 series on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Sent in deep back into the Railers, and this up the boards into the skates of Johansson, taken away by Werfel, but he gets it taken away by number 5 in Larkins, who got it to Berchanski, rimmed it around the boards. Now up into the neutral zone for Johansson for this Railers team, as Johnson gets bumped off the puck upon entry into the zone. Ross off the backboards to Magnus Enerson, goes into the skates of Werfel with that pass and gets it right back. Enerson now, just past the red line, sends this in deep over the glove of Bruchansky, recovered by Larkins, almost has that stripped away by Romanek down low. Now to Bruchansky again, he sends this breakout pass on the stick of Johnson as he's into the Canucks end again, tried to dangle his way past Osterman, but a nice shutdown of that stick from number 22. As this flips into the glove of Arneson, no hand pass called. Now sauces it over to Height, who has that stripped away by Bruchansky. Hits number 10 and Cole at the blue line. Muscles his way through. Cole tries to get the rebound. Early whistle in the benefit of the Canucks this time around. We saw that happen earlier in the Railers' end. as Cole tried to tuck away his rebound from that shot, that chance that he created by being strong on the puck and able to dazzle his way through to the goal. Still scoreless with just over halfway remaining in this period. Aiden Bruce whips this off the boards up to Brady Thorstensen, who fires it across to Grindle. Upon entry into the zone, his shot shut down by Hal, but good forecheck back onto the stick of Brady Thorstensen as the Canucks look to set up an attack. Grindle conversion on by two railers down below, but the Canucks get it right back. That shot, a wonky one as it goes wide of the net. Thought it went off the side at first as Pruden whacks this off the boards. All the way down it goes. The Canucks have possession of it again. Stretch pass off of Trent Thorstensen's stick, but turned over, sent all the way back down in the Canucks end by the railers. As Brady Thorstensen gets this back up to Height, as Height makes his way in to the railers. And huge game in game number 3 as he's shut down by number 29 in Delarone. As Caden Stewart recovers this in the neutral zone. Gets it to Hyde, who tries to get it to Osterman. This out of number 22's reach. Campbell stuffed in the neutral zone. Got that puck back, but sent it out of play. So with 9:23 left on the first period clock. Both of these teams, of course, have met in previous years in these past 3 years in the playoffs where it's been the Canucks who have had the Railers number. The Railers, if they're able to win today, they're able to put a lot of pressure on the Canucks heading back to Abe McDonald on Tuesday. Pressure that this Canucks organization hasn't felt in a long time in the playoffs, pre-COVID-19 era. They've won every single championship since the league has returned to full games in a full season. Let's Trey Sullen. That shot not towards the net as he fired it. That off the stick of Turner. Loose puck there in front, but the Canucks clear their house away effectively. Arneson now makes his way and drops his back to Osterman. Gets his back down low to Arneson, whose pass defended on well, so couldn't get to the point. Hit a stick instead. That off a stick of McClure all the way back down into the St. James end. McClure gets a stick on Enerson. He connects that with success to Arneson, though, as Arneson's shot upon entry into the zone turned aside by number 29 and Sage Delarone, the rookie goaltender. As a face-off coming up inside the Railers' end. Face-off draw won by the Canucks. As they rim this around, it's to Grindle as Grindle tries to flip it out off the boards, holding the line well. As this Railers team trying to get a tip on net was Vandenbush, but that misses a stick as it ends up all the way down into the Railers end, recovered by Bruchansky as number 7's the first one on it. That pass up the middle onto the stick and right off of Vandenbush as it's cleared right back down into the Transcona end. As Brady Thorstensen gets to it first before Trent. This played across to Grindle as Grindle now plays it into the equipment of Bruchansky. His pass cross ice into the neutral zone ends up to Chudley as Chudley now bangs bodies along the boards, but this taken away by the Canucks. Mystery there by Brady Thorstensen as he thought someone was with him, but in fact was a Railer Express there to cut things off as it's rimmed in deep again into the Canucks end. Vandenbush tries to make his move towards the net, but shut down well by Gage Parnell. This up to number 2 for this Canucks squad. And William Brooks, another newcomer to this Canucks lineup, as was an offside on the play. With 6:52 remaining. Face-off will just be outside the Railer Express zone. As Turner squares off against Height, and it's Turner who is victorious on this face-off. Draws this off the stick of Selin in the neutral zone. Deflected into the Canucks zone. Canucks fail to clear there. McClure, nice job to hold the blue line towards the net by Turner as he tried to locate McClure, who was heading there too. As that turned aside out of play. Off the stick of Ends. It's a face-off draw. Will be to the Walker hand side of number 30. Same two to take the draw on Height and Turner. See, Turner can win it again. He does. Just gets it to Selin as his shot turned aside by that paddle of Ends again from the high slot. This now over to McClure as he sends it just over the net. Sorry, that was actually Turner, as McClure was the one who sent it to him. Werfel now with a nice block as he tries to chase this down. Gets a stick and creates that turnover pass. Delarone almost getting it past number 29 was 13 and Griffin Height. But instead had some help. His Railer Express teammates, but not there, as it's Phillips. Is able to find an open seam through that screen and put this Canucks team up 1-0. Start off with the lead here on this Sunday afternoon. A goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. As for number 4 in Jacob Phillips, he's had some good chances back in Game 3 when we watched. This time around, it's an accurate shot that finds Barron in off the right post and past Delarone, as the Canucks built up some good momentum. Those chances they had prior in on Delarone, as it looks like the net's off right now. And the ref makes that call exactly. Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store, located at 995 Miltz Drive. The sponsor for that goal from number 4 and Jacob Phillips. Just the defending champs putting pressure on this Railer Express team, the favorite in this series by the ranking, as they're the 3rd seed, the Canucks the 6th seed. Two teams out of a few who took, well, either a big jump for the Railer Express. The Twins also took a huge jump in the regular season standings from last year to this year, finishing 6th place last year, finishing 1st place this year. The Railers very similar, finishing 8th place last year and finishing 3rd place this year. So moving up about 5 spots in the standings. But a team that they keep on having trouble with in the playoffs and meeting up against them is this St. James Junior Canucks team. This out of the years they faced them is their best opportunity to do so, but got to remember that the Canucks, they're still here. They still got some key players on this team. One of them making a huge play moments ago, Jacob Phillips with a nice snipe using a screen to get that past Delarone. As it's back in the Canucks zone, Ross, saucer pass over to Enerson. Magnus Enerson over to Brady Thorsteinson. Can't get that pass ahead. It's into a skate instead. As Johnson loses that puck heading towards the net. Looking to go off for a change, but saw the puck coming towards him, so stopped up to try to get it. But instead it's the Canucks who make their way back down. That shot blocked. Grindle on the other number 20. In Howell as the Railer Express try to flip this up ice instead into the equipment of Enerson as he now spins and fires this back down to the Railers zone onto the stick of Larkins. His pass up to Coe. His pass can't get to St. Laurent at first. Now St. Laurent's pass cut off by Ross, but still it makes it into the Canucks end. Is this off the stick of Howe as he regroups in his zone and gets this towards the blue line to Pruden. Is Pruden now trying to squeeze his way past but can't get to that puck along the boards. St. Laurent tries to send it towards the net. Now Cole gets it to the slot. Rebound there afterwards, but the net off. As number 10 and the rest of this line, St. Laurent and Pruden, giving this Railer Express team quality opportunity on that shift. Coe able to track down that puck behind the net. He takes it away. It's a wraparound chance, but ends up going into the slot where the Railers just unable to locate that loose puck. As this ends up into the boards. As the players didn't know where it was in Arneson and Kyle Todoruk as they continued to battle. But in fact, it went off of Todoruk's arm and out of play. But the refs not seeming to catch that as it remains in the St. James end. If it went off the Railers, which I believe it did, it would have been outside of the zone. But instead they get another offensive zone face-off opportunity, which the Canucks ended up winning in their own end. As both teams try to get this puck loose into the slot. Vandenbush denied as whistle goes, and we got a penalty coming up. Or no, we just got the net that's off. So that's happened many times already in these playoffs across the series that we've been covering. Some rinks are worse than others for it. For this junior Canucks team, they continue to play a hard-nosed defensive game. And really a team that has been opportunistic and is created some good chances for themselves throughout this series. No different in this game so far. So there's great pressure around the net before that goal, gotta remember. And then the Canucks kept working before they worked their way towards a 1-0 lead as this sent out off the boards. Bruchansky ends up getting back and sends it off the opposite boards. Now ahead to Vandenberg to Todoruk, whose shot is wide of the net. Oh, Michael just missing there. Calling him by his first name because he's also got we also got Kyle Todoruk on this team. Number 6. Who not on the ice right now. It's Whiteman and Campbell who change for Larkins and Bruchansky as this face-off draw. Not really won by any team until the Railer Express possessed it as that shot denied off of Todoruk's stick. Saved by Ends. Todoruk gets it back though. Ends up, having Arneson's stick broken as Arneson tried to stick check Todoruk, but ended up having it snapped in half. As this dropped to Vandenbush, back to Michael Todoruk as he tries to fire that to the net, trying to use Enerson as a screen, but instead Enerson, a door on that one. The door was shut as he blocked it. As Ross along the boards ends up losing this. Hard forecheck from the Railers. Chudley's draw pass cut off by the Canucks as now 3 players swarm towards the puck carrier along the boards to take this away. Rimmed out and all the way into the Railers' end now as they try to rim this out successfully, which they do. So it's up to Ryder McClure. McClure trying to kick it to the outside with a toe drag dangle, trying to protect that puck as best as he could, but instead had it denied and taken out of the zone. As the Railers trying to use a delayed offside to their advantage. Use some time and space to work this out. They did work it into the Canucks zone, but shut down right away. The fans looking for a too many men call there on the Canucks as Romanek dodges the check in the Railer zone. Werfel locates an open point man. Stewart denied. Rebound there. Oh, Delarone keeping it out and making the save with 1:40 remaining in this first period. On his backside is number 29. As the shot has been, I think, maybe one area of concern as this game goes along, as even though Delarone's making the first save most times, his rebounds have been there, no different this time, but if you are going to give up those rebounds, you better be willing to fight and give it everything you have. Delarone using all of his frame to keep that puck out on that one on that second chance from this Canucks team. So with 1:35 remaining, it's Bruchance. He rushes this puck up down the left side from a sharp angle, denied. Rebound there, spinning and firing is Sullen, but denied by ends all the way down for what will be an icing into the Railers' end. So even though the Railers have had a lot of quantity in this period, not the quality they're looking for so far. Credit to the Canucks, too, for the good desperation defense they've had. Ends is on his game to start things off again. As this D-to-D wide of the net. At shots like that, you gotta be better if you're the Railers. Can't speak on game number 4 because wasn't there and didn't have a chance to see it. Heard from a source that the Canucks, they were able to skate with this Railers team despite the 4-1 loss. Of course, it came down to moments, and in this game this afternoon, will the Railers cash in on the moments like they did on Friday night? A shorthanded goal in there. Can't bank on that in this game. And shorthanded goals are at a premium. Be nice if you can get one, though, as this tipped out and sent all the way into the Railers' end from the Canucks. So Railers back on it right away. Turned over in the neutral zone. Bruchance gets it right back past the red line. Sends it in deep as we're into the final minute of play here in this first period of action. As Georgi just past the red line sends this in deep. Goes off for a change. Magnum Grindle makes his way onto the ice. As Romanek and Tristan Arneson also out there. That gets through the legs of Bruchance onto the net where Delarone had to make a save. Romanek battling well in front. Tristan Arneson finds that loose puck, but Delarone able to deny it. Big time from number 29 here in the late stages of this first period. 34 and a half seconds remain. Sloppy play from the team in front of him. It's a bit unlucky that that first shot gets passed through the legs of Bruchance. Delarone makes a key save on that one. Not as worried about that one as the chance that that Thorstensen's able to have. As how don't you clear away that rebound or have someone that's there too? Delarone forced to make, I feel, was an unnecessary save, but made it unnecessary in the sense that his defense should have been more help for him there. But good on Thorstensen on finding that puck with 8 seconds remaining. This gets past the stick of Ends. As for a second straight game that's been broadcasted on this series, or in this series, it's a tie, or not a tie, instead, a 1-0 lead for the visiting Canucks heading into the next 20 minutes of action. Thought that this first period played out pretty identical to what we saw in Game 3, besides the Canucks, of course, scoring a goal to go up 1-0. But the Railer Express, with a lot of quantity, thought that their quality could have been better, but they had most of this play in the Canucks zone. They still had some good chances in front, but just quite couldn't get to the rebounds. And I thought that their goaltending was pretty solid for the most part for Transcona, but talked about it, and it's about moments, and Logan Ends was up to every single moment in that first 20 minutes. And for this Junior Canucks team, their D-man and Jacob Phillips was up to the moment to snipe that first goal of the game. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. And yeah, the Canucks again being opportunistic in the best way possible for themselves as they'll look to extend this lead as well as hold the Railer Express continue to off the scoreboard as we get into the next period of action coming up, which will be the second. This first period brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia service. Be sure to check out their website at cancentralsportscards.com, as well as their only store location here in the city of Winnipeg at 995 Millet-Steagall Drive. We'll have more mmjhl playoff game day action coming up next in a few moments here. mmjhl fans, thank you once again for paying the $5 admission fee and watching this one on our Uscreen platform. 50% of the proceeds, remember, go back to the mmjhl. We'll be back for the second period and a bit more first period analysis coming up soon.
Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store.
And welcome back into East End Arena, mmjhl fans, in a upcoming second period of action, which will have the St. James Junior Canucks starting up 1-0 on the scoreboard, as they ended up scoring the first goal of this game in the first period, scored by number 4 and Jacob Phillips, defenseman for this Junior Canucks squad, with his first of the postseason, assisted by Aiden Bruce and Caden Osterman. 13:56 into that first period of action. Shots are 16-12 in favor of the Express, so yeah, felt like they outshot the Canucks. Felt like, yeah, maybe they didn't give up as many shots as 12. Thought maybe it was about 9 or 10, but yeah, some good saves from Sage Delarone in that period. That shot that he lets in, the Canucks get some help from the post, the good bounce, and usually for netminders, the post their best friend. That time, some betrayal from Delarone's post, as it found an angle to find its way to hit the mesh at the back of the net. But for Transcona, I think that this is the type of game where, you know, I know you struggle to win games when you're down on the scoreboard, but flashback to game number 1. Not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, where the Canucks went up 1-0 against the Express. But the Railers would stick with their game, and they'd end up powering through to, of course, win that game 1 by a score of 5-3. So that could be in play here tonight. I think you need to get more, or this afternoon, as I should say, as this is a afternoon game, currently 2:44 Central Time, which is Manitoban time as well, but still a lot of time to work with in this game. You've had a good volume of chances, but as mentioned, I think the quality needs to be a bit better for the Railers for them to have their best shot in this one. As for the Canucks, they played some good team defense in this one, getting into lanes, blocking shots, and also good on their opportunities. A goal out of their 12 shots so far. Thought that they've been dangerous at points off the rush. They've been able to crash the net and get rebounds, find loose pucks on the Transcona end of things. And as for the Railer Express, I think shoring things up a bit more in front of your goaltender in Delarone, helping him out a bit more on clearing away rebounds, that'll be huge for their success moving forward in their path to taking home a victory in game number 5. Here's the winner of this game. Will go up 3-2 heading into game number 6 of this series, which will be played coming up on Tuesday night. As for Stonewall and Charleswood, they're about an hour away now. This is 2:45 p.m. currently from getting their game 5 underway. As for the Charleswood Hawks, if they're able to win at home today, they will punch their ticket into the next round. But if not, game number 6 goes on Tuesday night in Stonewall, as the Railer Express make their way back out onto the ice. We take a look at some stats leaders here, presented by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, before we get into the next period of action, which will be brought to you by Terrico and goaltenders. But Enns and Delarone both in the top 5 for goals against average right now, and both have been solid in this game. Enns a bit better, as he was perfect on 16 shots against. Will he remain to be perfect in this game? We'll find out here as this second period brought to you by Terrico and Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Is this all the way down for an icing? The face-off draw just outside the Canucks end here, as they'll be going from right to left from our broadcast vantage point in this period, and the Railer Express flying from left to right. As this flipped into the roof and into the crowd, look out! So I hope if that hit anyone, they're okay. That dangerous. It's a lively puck here, and East End makes its way over the mesh. It's times like these where you're thankful there is mesh most times. Or mesh can be distracting sometimes. If it's black mesh, it's harder to see through. But the white mesh, easier to see through. As that shot, Delarone saw it all the way, denies the chance from the Canucks player. Chasing this down, Michael Todoruk, but getting to it first. Number 6 in Magnus Enerson, as Enerson tried to play this up the boards, but cut off by the Railers. To the point, Berchanski walks in, turned aside by Ends. It's a face-off. Will be coming up this time inside the Canucks zone. The Railer Express with what's been maybe their most effective line in these playoffs so far is Trey Sellon, among the top point getters in this postseason. This puck makes its way out of the reach of Sellon, trying to make a dangle past Height, but can't, as he's denied by his skate. Was McClure. His Height off the boards goes to Arneson. Arneson flipped it into the Railers and taken away by McClure. His rim around not hard enough to get past Bruce out of the zone, as the Canucks take possession of it down low. Ends up to the point again. The goal scorer Phillips gets it. They're trying to search for that loose puck in the skates. Was Height, but unable to get anything generated off of that rebound chance, as Bruce in his own end puts the moves on number 23 and Turner. His pass out of the reach of Arneson, though, as all the way down this goes for an icing. As the Railers will take advantage of this. The Canucks forwards have been out for a decent amount of time, a bit tired. The Railer Express get a fresh set of legs on all around the forward position with their deep pairing as well, as this draw won by the Railers, just held in by Whiteman as he had to reach to keep that in at the blue line, as this played to the slot but cut off right away by Ends, who I think for the Canucks starting him in this game, I mean, he's earned it so far with his play. Maybe you could have given Murphy another look, and then that gives Ends some more motivation coming into Game 6. But you want to keep him in a rhythm, too. And I don't think, that game that they end up losing, you could have gotten a bit better goaltending, but the team in front of him could have been a bit better, too. And I think that Ends proven that he was the right choice again so far for this Canucks team in this afternoon's contest, with not even 2 minutes gone so far in the second period of action. Thorsteinsson, that pass ends up making it to Grindle in the end. Went off a stick at first. That long shot from Brady Thorsteinsson at the point ends up just wide of the net, as Romanek made his way onto the ice, tried to get that puck back along the boards. This taken away along the boards by Brady Thorsteinsson. Again, backhand shot from some distance, turned aside by Delarone. Tried to get his own rebound, but couldn't get a shot off. His pass to Enerson off the mark all the way down into the Canucks zone, as Ends out of his own net to play this. Played it off the boards and out in the direction of Werfel, as Werfel in the neutral zone tried to get it back off of Johansson. Johansson gives chase on this, now finished his check, as it ends up opposite side of the rink. Stretch pass up, and now kicked up to Werfel, as that shot turned aside by Delarone. Rebound this time taken away by number 17 in Tyson Pruden. Good back check. Good defense from number 17 on that play to shut it down. Over to Berchanski. Goes Diddy onto the backhand of Larkins. Off the boards. To St. Laurent. As St. Laurent rims this in hard. battling away along the boards. Pruden now. St. Laurent swoops in for support as he tries to dig this puck out. Now into the skates of number 17 in Pruden as St. Laurent continues to battle away with it. 3 Canucks also down low. Interference coming up on the play. As the Railers got a bit too intense there. It'll send us to what'll be our first power play of this afternoon. It'll be 2 minutes. The number 17 in Tyson Pruden, rookie forward, goes off for the next 120 seconds. Or maybe shorter than that if the Canucks are able to find a goal here on the power play. But the Railers have been dangerous shorthanded. Here's Vandenbush as his shot turned aside on the rush off of the paddle of ends and out of play. As this power play brought to you by Terrico, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. As Height to take the draw against Vandenbush. It'll be won by Height. As Height passes up to Caden Osterman. Osterman now plays this back to Phillips as Phillips regains the puck off the boards and goes off the backboards to Enerson. Enerson right back off those same backboards to Phillips, who plays it off and up to Osterman, who plays this down low in the direction of Height. First one on it to cut it off was Howell, but a swarm of Canucks there are able to take it away. Arneson, Height, and Osterman all in one corner. It's down low to Caden Osterman as he protects this on the forehand. Osterman bumped off the puck now as the Railers able to get it all the way out. That pass almost intercepted off of the stick of Phillips, but it got through to Height. It leaves this back to Arneson, who he plays this to the right face-off circle to Enerson. Takes this off the boards, gets this up top to Phillips, who can't hold the line. Didn't cradle that pass in well enough. Instead, it just makes its way past the blue line and out as the Canucks get their second power play unit out. It's been a good kill so far from this Railer Express squad. A short-handed chance from Vandenbush. A face-off in the Canucks zone, but the Canucks, the ones with it, back into danger in the offensive zone, but not for long as this all the way out off of a mispass that went off the boards closest to our broadcast angle. Now Caden Stewart makes his way up in the neutral zone. Had it sticked away. It's onto the stick of Brady Thorsteinson, who rims this in deep. It gets to Kuczek's stick as Kuczek battles along the boards. Now into Kuczek's feet as he rims this off the boards down low in the direction of Werfel. Funny bounce. Held in by Romanek, though, gets it to Stewart. Nice dangle from number 24, but his pass, not a good enough bounce to get down low as it's stretched up by the Railers. They got it into the Canuck zone, spinning in the corner, trying to evade the pressure was number 26 and Johnson. This taken away, and now back to even strength. So we go. Shot turned aside by Ends. For that, exactly what the Railers need with 14:45 remaining. A few short-handed chances. Not much danger overall as they held this Canucks team to the outside pretty well. So the Railers now look to work this D-to-D. They do just that. Turned aside by Logan Ends. Back to the point again. That shot tipped off the backboards, almost back out in front. As Vandenbush lays the body along the boards. Huge hit on number 2 in Brooks. That shot turned aside by Ends now. Not cleared away at the point. Whiteman, his shot. Unable to get through there as it's blocked. Parnell can't get it out. So that was Madden. Now turned over again. Vandenbush to the slot. Todoruk going just off the post. Michael Todoruk so close on that chance. The Railer Express gotta like it though, more quality, and finishing their checks, another one there, 2 in a row. As another along the boards from Campbell, that a reverse check this time from the AP, the high schooler in Madden Parnell. The Railer Express now with 13:44 remaining in this period. Work it up in the neutral zone for Selin. Down to Vandenbush, tried to dangle past Bruce, but taken away. He was shut down. This all the way down for an icing. With 13:33 remaining. As Michael Todorick so close together, this one even. Would have had this building rocking, especially from the Railer faithful. So draw one by that Railer squad over to McClure. That shot, just catching a piece of it, was Ends. As another shot turned aside by Ends, net off. What have we seen that one before? Already happened multiple times in this game already. But I believe the first time in this period so far the net's gone off. I could be wrong about that. But big saves from Ends. Warrant's goaltenders making its way back onto the screen as a draw one by the Railers. They play it D-to-D. Larkins tries to shoot through a screen, but Romanek able to close the gap well enough to block it. All the way down this goes. Will it be for an icing? No. Waved off as Bruchansky there on it first. Looked to leave it for Selin, but Selin left it for Bruchansky. Kicks this out to McClure as McClure into the neutral zone, cross ice for Larkins, who he sends it in deep. That bounces over the stick of Ends down low at the point. Not able to be taken out as Selin holds. Kicks this out to Bruchansky to the slot. That unable to find a man. Selin now whips this out of play as now there's some fighting that ensues in the corner. As the Canucks take an exception to, well, we missed it, what happened with Selin in that corner, but to whatever Selin did, they weren't big fans of it. Maybe the shot, but the shot came before the whistle, so we settle down. Selin still remains out on the ice. The Canucks with some fresh legs out as Trent Thorstensson loses his draw. Selin off the side of the net. Dangerous chance there from number 4. Not sure how he was able to find that puck, as this surely will be down for an icing now. Another offensive zone face-off draw coming up for the Railers, as now they get a fresh set of legs out onto the ice. But I think Selin, one of the most underrated parts of his game is just how sneaky he is, how good he is at locating loose pucks wherever they may be. That time in the skates of somebody, I'm not sure if it was the Canucks or one of his teammates, but Selin able to find that puck, scoop it out, and create a dangerous shot that goes off the net. Didn't quite challenge Ends, but almost had a chance to. As this back into the Railers zone, flipped out. Now all the way to Vandenbush at the blue line. Vandenbush's shot turned aside by Ends. Had to fight that off. The right arm. It's not quite a blocker save. Vandenbush now gloves this down. No hand pass called on the place. It's down low. Todorick battling with Gagepar now. To the slot. Vandenbush wires this high. The captain's so close, but yet so far from tying this one up as this ends up out of play. Off the stick of a Canuck, as the Canucks continue to just survive the surge, the swarm put on this Railer Express team right now. As Griffin Height for the Canucks to take the draw, loses this to St. Laurent, but nice play by Osterman to make his way up to take possession of that puck through the face-off circle. Now Osterman and Arneson pressure Bruchansky down low. It's the Railer Express are able to get it out successfully. Anderson lost it in his skates for a moment, but able to get it out with success off the boards. This top line out for this Canuck squad now. Huge in game 3. As mentioned, rebound almost taken. Was that shot by the Canucks on that chance? But the Canucks able to clear it away just in time. Pruden bumped in the neutral zone and then falls against Ross. This is played D-to-D to Anderson in front of the Canucks goal. Arneson tries to get this out off the boards, but strong play by Larkins to hold it in. Loose puck played out by Osterman. Off the stick of Enerson off the boards now. Back down into the Railers zone. That off the stick of Bruchanski. Negates the icing as it was past the red line where that made contact. This now taken away. Shananoff tries to dazzle his way through number 8 and Ross, but shut down as he couldn't find that loose puck. In Enerson's skate. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break, everybody, as we get our camera fixed.
McKenna Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, McKenna Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg.
Played up to Sullen as we just had to change our camera battery. As we're back to play now. Cut a commercial short. You'll see that during the second intermission break from McKenna Fasteners and Tools. This period, of course, brought to you by Terraco and Goaltenders. Still 1-0 in the lead for the Junior Canucks. But some great chances from the Railers, so close to tying this one up in this period. More quality chances from this squad too, which you got to be happy with if you are Derek Gagnon. You just love to see that first goal go in, take some pressure off you, and then maybe more start to fall. As nice play along the boards by Johansson on the forecheck. Bumps bodies with Gage Parnell again down low. As this onto the stick of Trent Thorstensen gets it to Trent Thorstensen. It was from Brady that pass as Trent's shot ends up out of play.
The Railers West Hockey Club would like to thank all our major sponsors: Access Credit Union, Dallas Restaurant Lounge, Goodfellow Realty, Edgecourt Development, Radio Millburn, Vickers on Road, Deacons Corner SO, Goodfellow Realty.
It's a face-off draw to the blocker hand side of the right-handed catching goaltender in number 29 in Delarone, as that shot ends up out of play. Face-off draw will come at the same spot. Vandenbush against Height, as Height loses this to the Railer Express captain D-to-D. Over to Larkins off that pass from Bruchanski. This turned over into the Canuck zone as it's played across off the boards and turned over, cut off by Chudley. But the Canucks get it right back on Arneson's stick. Dangerous if you let him be, but Bruchanski wouldn't let him be there. Shut him down just upon entry into the Railers' end as Vandenbush looks to go for a skate now, loses possession of it. Trying to make it into the zone is a good stick on him before he entered to disrupt that. Vandenbush back with it now, off the boards. That turned over out of the reach of Todoric as Ross plays it off the boards for the Canucks now. Now to the middle for Height as he skates his way in. Griffin Height pulls back, shoots, and turned aside into the glove of Delarone. As Sage gets a stoppage with 7:31 remaining here. What's a packed house this afternoon at East End Arena. You're watching mmjhl Playoff Game Day on Uscreen, on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Thanks for paying the $5 admission fee if you are for this one, mmjhl fans. 50% of profits go back to the league of the money you're paying for this game today. To watch, I know we've had people tune in from places not just here in Manitoba. Someone tuned in from Arizona on their vacation for Riels and Vicks on Thursday, which that was pretty cool to hear. And yeah, hoping that no matter where you're tuning in from, that you're enjoying this one so far. As this bad bounce into the slot, the Canucks almost able to get it through, but it ended up to their blue line. Now all the way out into the neutral zone, sent back in again by Phillips as Bruchansky. Saucer pass connected on to Johnson's stick. Left this up for Shadanoff. Is down the left side. Shadanoff denied by Enns as he sends that out of play. So face-off coming up once again in the Canucks zone, and that's one thing that I think I've noticed it's more prominent in Enns' game compared to other goaltenders in the league, but just the shot control, especially on those first shots, just killing the play right away, sending them out of play, trusting the team in front of them. That could build some good morale as this game goes along. Of course, sometimes you don't want to have a face-off in your end, but the Canucks have been pretty solid on the draw here tonight for the most part, or this afternoon as I should say. So we got another face-off inside the Canucks zone. Take it, number 15, and Georgiou ends up, or no, it's Trent Thorsteinsson. Won it back to his D-man, but Canucks unable to get it out. Cut off by Grindle, now to Selin, high slot. That shot wide of the net. As the Canucks look to get it out by Grindle, and says a bad word afterwards. Too unhappy about Fenton on that pass. That allows it for Selin to take this one-timer as he's denied by Enns. As the Canucks able to make their way down as the Thorsteinsson 2-on-1. That shot, what a block by number 6. And Kyle Todorek, loose puck still there in front as Brady Thorsteinsson tries to muscle this puck down, which he does. Stewart, his shot wide of the net. He walked in to take that shot attempt. McClure sends this in deep. So Kyle Todorek plays his way up. Now into the slot. That pass off the mark from Turner. Turner gets it right back, spins away now down low into the slot. Nice defensive play by Arneson to get a stick in the lane of that pass directed to Pruden. Now Osterman with some speed. That shot saved into the slot. Loose puck still there. Oh, Delarone! What a big stop from number 29. A monster in net. 5:31 left on the clock. And that brings goaltenders back on the screen here. It's a great play from the Canucks. From 200 feet all the way down into the Transcona. And it's a nice feed by Turner to try to get it to Pruden, but Arneson gets a stick in the lane, and he's the one who's going to create the rush in. The Canucks able to set up a nice pass and play to get it towards the net. But it's Delarone who makes not one, not two, but 3 big saves in front. Giving his team the spark. Can they capitalize on it now? Is in tight. Vandenbush denied off of that rebound chance created by Michael Todorek. Held it at the line. Larkins passed that off. Should have shot it. Well, this is Bruchansky. How's that blocked? Maybe a missed opportunity there. They get even more chaos created on net, on ends. As Larkin's elected to pass that up instead of shooting it with 4:49 remaining. Bit of miscommunication in the neutral zone allows for Vandenbush to take this away. The captain drop pass to Chudley out of his reach, but he gets it back to Larkins. His shot can't get on net. Now that's stretched over to Thorsteinsson. In on Delarone, scores! Opportunity arises for the Canucks, and they take advantage. What a feed over to Brady Thorsteinsson. No one back to defend except for Delarone in the crease, and instead of going high, he goes low. The 5-hole, which fools Delarone to give this Canucks team the 2-0 lead here with 4:30 remaining. After the Railer Express had some phenomenal pressure. That goal brought to you by Terrico's shot just sailed high of the net as Gage Parnell got this down low to number 22 in Osterman along the boards. This now sent down low by Arneson. What type of response does this Railer Express team? A dire goal that they might have just given up. Big save by Delarone on that slot opportunity for this Canucks squad. As this Canucks top line, great pressure created right now. This ends up to the slot, cleared away by the Railers. This is on the rush. It's St. Laurent, takes it wide. That shot just wide of the net. Now a player gets bodied into the net. No interference call or anything coming up as towards the net it goes. Swallowed up by the Canucks as they're able to work it out off the boards to Griffin Height. Height pulls back. His shot just high of the net over the glove of Delarone, trying to pick that high right corner. St. Laurent takes it away in his own end for this Railer Express squad. Off the boards and all the way out, down into the Canucks zone now. Off the stick of Arneson as he reached for it. Romanek, just before the blue line, sent it in deep to allow for this to be a legal play on side. Ross almost held the line by holding that in with a skate, but the refs call it a offside instead. 2-0 Canucks lead in the building, which has been pretty quiet ever since. It just feels like this has been what the Railers have been dealing with here in 2 of their past 3 matchups. Even 3 of their past 4 matchups, is you seem to carry most of the play, outplaying this Canucks squad. But the Canucks, they're able to skate with them still and capitalize on their opportunities. No opportunity bigger most recently than that of Brady Thorsteinsson taking a stretch pass and doing the rest and beating Delarone 5-hole on the breakaway. As it's Shadanov, his shot into the red basket of ends, as he continues to be really solid in this one. Some movement on the bench from the Railer Express coaches as one of their assistants seems like he's pacing back and forth a bit. Some nervous body language right now on the home side's bench. Brady Thorsteinsson to take the draw after Trent got kicked out. This face-off circle, tied up by Turner, won this back with success to Kyle Todoruk. Shaw can't get through to the net, but to the side of it, it goes onto Turner's stick for just a moment. As this unable to be cleared out by St. James, the net off. Unbelievable. Something we got to look into in the future here. This is madness. The game should not be stopped this many times due to this. And does anyone even push it off this time around? Like, didn't even look like anyone was in that area to be able to do that effectively, but ends up being the case. So we'll go again. So straw won by the Canucks. Rimmed around Arneson, cut off, but good support for Haidt as his flip out of the zone, batted out of the air by the glove of Kyle Todoruk, who's down low and battling with Bruce, trying to get this back. Makes its way up the board. Sullen. Now it's to McClure. Over to Sullen again. His shot denied by that left pad of Ends. Taken up now by Osterman, who he gets tripped up. No call coming on the play as he tried to make a move past, but instead would lose his balance. That shot, McClure ends up having it blocked. On entry into the zone with 1:19 remaining in the second period of action. Sent in off of the right arm of Phillips. Good reflexes from Phillips as he redirected that into the corner. Got it back D-to-D now to Arneson as Arneson saucers this cross ice to Phillips, who sends this in deep with under a minute left to go now in this second period of action. 2-0 for this Canucks side. As at the point, Ross holds it in. That shot off the shin pad block by Michael Todoruk down low. Vandenbush tries to get this out, and he's unable to. Held in by Enerson into the opposite corner for Georgiev. Drop back to Griffin Haidt, who has that shot wide of the net. Romanek had his stick lifted in front. He's tried to search for that loose puck. Enerson again holds the line. Werfel towards the net. Rebound there, but just past the outreach stick of Romanek, stretched up to Michael Todoruk. He gets shut down by Ross. No penalty coming up. He had his stick disrupted. The refs letting him play still as this is Georgiev. He picks the puck and now he's down. Dangle scores! It's magic from number 15. He does it all himself. 3-0, the defending champs. 8.7 left in this second period of action. Absolute mayhem in East End Arena. That goal brought to you by Terrico. We talked about puck management, how huge that is. As Whiteman having some words for either the linesman or St. James Junior Canucks as he makes his way to the penalty box. Derek Gagnon absolutely furious right now. Wants to talk to the head referee, but he's going to have to wait just a bit. We're going to be getting a penalty coming up to the Railer Express as well here to boot. But what a move by Georgiev. Ends up freezing Delarone. And once again, a goal where St. James is able to make their way past behind the Railer Express defense. And of course, that goal brought to you by Terrico. It comes at the worst possible time, 2 for the Railers. They get even a worse outcome, too, with a player going to the penalty box, even though their penalty kill's been good. As right now, Derek Gagnon continuing to talk with one of the head referees. Romanek and Vandenbush around one of the other head referees closest to us. But the Railer Express with the chance moments before that goal happens on the rush where they're shut down. The Canucks are just doing the job enough in their own end, getting the big enough saves to be able to just shut down this Railer Express squad. And once again, they're up 3-0. This time with one more goal in the second period compared to period number 2 after the 40 minutes in game number 3 where they're up 2-0. This time it's 3-0. Georgiev with a beautiful move to freeze Delarone and put that into the back of the net. As a penalty ensues afterwards, it'll be the Canucks who carry this into the third period of play, into what could be the final 20 minutes of regulation. Well, it will be the final 20 minutes of regulation coming up. Could it be the final 20 minutes of this game? Well, we'll have to wait to see to find out what type of comeback the Railer Express could potentially have here. But if you're the St. James Junior Canucks, you got to be extremely pleased with how this game has worked itself out up until this point. You continue to get phenomenal goaltending from your goaltender, who faced even higher danger scoring chances in that second period of action compared to period number 1. The Railer Express kept coming at the Junior Canucks again in this period, but St. James, that top line, doing some great work for them, getting some great opportunities, some great chances, creating some good momentum. They started to also hold the line a lot more when they did get into the offensive zone against the Railers, and the Canucks just surviving in their own end and looking to stretch this puck, as they did it a few times successfully in period number 1, but not as successful as we saw in period number 2. 2 stretch passes onto the sticks of First and Brady Thorsteinsson. Well, I guess the only stretch pass that led to a goal, but Brady Thorsteinsson with a beautiful finish past the 5-hole of Delarone. And then Georgiou with a great use of his stick, a great forecheck in the neutral zone to pick the pocket of a Railer Express player, get behind their D, and put on a highlight reel goal past number 29 and Sage Delarone. We're going to head into the final 20 minutes here coming up soon of regulation here. Will we need more than that? We'll find out soon enough. The Canucks will be on a power play for the next minute and 52 seconds to open up this upcoming period of action. That'll be brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools. This period was brought to you by Terrico for our goals as well. Serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. Be sure to check out their website at terrico.ca to find out why. And we were also brought to you by Goaltenders. These goalies putting on a show for the most part here this afternoon. Goaltenders, your goalie's personal video review service. Be sure to check them out at GordyThomasonGoalies.ca for more information. 3-0, the defending champs lead, a game away from going up 3-2 in this crucial game number 5 in this series. Do the Railers have what it takes to come back? Will the Canucks finish things off here? They start off with a power play coming up next on mmjhl Playoff Game Day. Thanks again for paying $5 and tuning in to this one, mmjhl fans. 50% of your money goes back to the league itself. Stick around for period number 3 here coming up next.
McCann Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, McCann Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, McCann Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon takes pride in selling the tools farmers and tradespeople rely on. Like our Winnipeg location, Brandon carries the same tools you know and love. From all the brands you can trust, all in one convenient place. And with unbeatable service, we'll make sure you get the right tools to get the job done. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon, proud to serve Brandon's industrial needs since 2018. Stop on by today at 358 Park Avenue East.
And welcome back into East End Arena, mmjhl fans. Thank you so much for paying the $5 to watch this game this afternoon from East End Arena between the 3rd seed in the Transcona Railer Express and the 6th seed in the defending champion St. James Junior Canucks. I'm your play-by-play commentator and, of course, been your host for this game, and Graham the G-Show Forsyth, as we're going to have the Canucks starting off with a power play with 1:52 remaining here. Shots 29 to 25 in total for the Railer Express through the first 40 minutes of action. As we take a look at how this one has transpired. The second period goal scorers. As that second period was brought to you by Terrico and Goaltenders, this third period will be brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, but it was Brady Thorsteinson receiving a pass from Trent Thorsteinson, a beauty of a stretch pass to send Brady on a breakaway, which he would end up on the second goal of the postseason to give this Canucks team a 2-0 lead, and then Carter Georgiou doing it all himself, unassisted, pickpocketing a Railer Express player in the neutral zone before making his way through and in on Delarone, where he'd fake backhand, forehand, or forehand, backhand, forehand into the back of the net. With 19:52 remaining, so only 8 seconds remaining in the period, he ended up giving this Canucks team a 3-goal lead that could be devastating. It could be the dagger against this Railer Express squad that, during that most recent period of action, put up 13 shots compared to the 16 they had in period 1. It ended up being more quality from the Railers, but Logan Enns came away with some big-time saves. As we're into the third period of action now, the power play for the St. James Junior Canucks squad. As they'll look to fare better than on their first power play of this matchup, which came in the second period, of course, where the Railers ended up having some good shorthanded chances against them. As Jace Larkin sends this in deep early in this Railer Express penalty kill. As for the Canucks, it's played across to Magnus Enerson. Enerson holds strong along the boards, drops his back to Osterman, but his shot blocked up. The Railer Express unable to get that puck out after it stuck up on them. As it saucered over to Enerson. Enerson back up top to Phillips, back to Enerson now. Back up top to Phillips, back to number 6 as his shot blocked up on the way through. As Vandenbush off the boards all the way out for the captain. As for Logan Enns, out of his own net, leaves this for number 24 in Stewart, who his pass off the mark for Brady Thorsteinson, taken away by Keaton Johnson, as Johnson sends this all the way in deep. As this period brought to you by McKen Fasteners and Tools, as well as for this power play for the Canucks, as that long shot turned aside by Enns. Had to be ready for it, as good forecheck down below by the Railers, press in front, scores! Exactly what this Railers team needed to get this attempt of a comeback that they're going to get going off right. Short-handed with 13 seconds left on the penalty. It's a great forecheck by Jeremy Shadanoff. He works magic from down below, gets this out in front to Johnson, as Johnson makes no mistake, finally finding some light past number 30 and Enns. As with 6 seconds remaining on the penalty still, this all the way into the Canucks zone. This life now for this Railer Express squad. That goal brought to you by McKen Fasteners and Tools. Your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. From the point, that shot deflected wide of the net as Osterman got hauled down. It's Keaton Johnson again, drops this back, holds on to it, now kicks it out to Johansson as he tries to spin away from the check-in of Height. Gets it to Johnson, into the slot, that pass fails, but Johnson gets it back, trying to fend off the check-in of Height, who has him pinned up along the boards. Number 21 unable to maintain that pressure in St. Laurent. That shot turned aside by number 30. It ends. Jeremy Shadanoff with the assist on that most recent goal. St. Laurent, his shot from high up in the zone, high slot, not able to get through. It's now taken away by this Canucks team down low. Flipped out all the way down into the Railer Express zone now is Bruchansky off the boards. Ends up getting this all the way out as Bruce sends it down for an icing. With 16:48 remaining here in this period. New life for this Transcona Railer Express squad. So they're now 2 goals away from tying this, but what they're focused on is the next goal. Simply that, and simply put, as Griffin Height focused on this next draw, as he ended up winning it all the way out. And it's onto the stick of Grindle. Grindle, his shot fired on net, turned aside by Delarone. Rebound scooped up by McClure, gets it to Turner. Fans on that attempt to get it to Selin. Got it there again, but far out of his reach. Bump down low from Turner. Selin fans on that puck. As Turner taken out into the net. Penalty coming up. Selin, he tries to shoot for the screen, does, but wide of the net. Now to the point for Campbell. His shot wide. As the Railer Express look to control this block, but getting it back. Whiteman, he walks in. His shot turned aside. A rebound out of the reach of number 23 in front, and Turner, who drew that penalty. And with that, we got the Railers going on to what will be their first power play of this contest, which comes almost 44 minutes in. Brought to you by McKen Fasteners and Tools. Transcona so far in these playoffs is draw 1 and 2. The boards, both teams trying to get it back. Railer Express have struggled on this PP so far at 6.7%. Oh, their penalty kill has been good for the most part, 100%. Well, good for all parts, as they've been perfect on the penalty kill again today. Looking for some magic on the power play now, though, as Chudley at the side of the net can't feed that pass out in front. So it got disrupted. Larkins went hard into the boards there with Ross. Puck scooped up by the Railers. Shot turned aside by Enns as Bruchansky gets this back across to Vandenbush. but can't hold that pass in, as all the Railers can do is send it in deep there. First power play unit remains out, picking off that pass. Turner ends up to Chudley, back to Turner, feeds that towards the right face-off circle to Larkins, but it's turned aside. Canucks able to get this all the way out. It's the Canucks penalty kill. Been 93.3% in this series, so it's been a battle of the penalty kills so far. Which power play breaks through the best in the remainder of this series may have the best chance of winning this one. Right now, the Railers trying to get within one. That shot turned aside as it went off the stick, or from the stick of Whiteman. Another blast turned aside, this time from long range from Whiteman. Ends up to the task, ends up in the neutral zone. Campbell passes right back to Whiteman, who circles around to the center ice dot. Kicks this out to Shadenough. That high shot, glove down, seen all the way by Enns. With 12 seconds remaining, on a power play that has had a lot of great chances for this Railer Express squad. Phillips 10 seconds away from coming out of the box. So McClure, that shot wired wide of the net all the way out, and this will effectively end the Railers power play. So we're back to even strength. That brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools. It's this stretch pass off the glove of Ross, almost connected to Sullen in the end though. Just off the mark for number 4's stick at that blue line. So it ends up back into the Canucks zone, into the skates of Ross as he gets forechecked hard by Sullen. But Ross fends off Sullen and passes this D to the right end of his zone. But pass picked off by Vandenbush, taken away by the Canucks again and sent off the boards. Vandenbush was shut down going towards the net. Vandenbush gets us off the boards now. In deep into the Canucks zone. Canucks can't do much with it as Bruchansky converges onto the puck. Takes it back in front. That pass finding no one. There's no one there for the Railer Express. Huge hit by Vandenbush on Ross in the corner. High stick called on the Railers. Someone's going to be going now. And that, number 6, Ederson going to the box. Missportsmanlike conduct. The next 2 minutes for number 6. And Ederson sends this Rail Express team back to the power play, is just kicking out that right pad to save that shot. Was Enns back at the point. Campbell, that tic-tac-toe can't connect with McClure at the left face-off circle. Shadenough gets a stick on Stewart. Both continue to battle and fight down low, as now a two-hander into the back of Stewart from Shadenough. Now Stewart gives him two back, and Stewart ends up sending Shadenough to the ice. That one now going to be a call. It's a 5-on-3 coming up as the Canucks, Stewart trying to pull Sullen into the fight, into the fold to try to draw him off for a penalty, but Sullen's not going to have any of that. A minute 27, a 5-on-3 time will be coming up here. Stewart got away with the first 3 cross checks, but the 4th one is the one which the ref said, okay, that's about enough, where Shadenough is defenseless on the ice, out of the battle, and it's just frustration from number 24 in Stewart, as this becoming an even bigger moment in this game now. The Railers can find some way to connect on the power play. They cut the lead down to 1. They'd love to strike twice here. I think they'd be happy with a power play goal nonetheless, as they're at 6.7%. On a power play that's worked it around well. They've had some great pressure. It's just no finish so far. and finish that they've been struggling to find on a regular basis in this series, as it's controlled by the Railers. D to Larkin, saucered over the stick to Bruchanski. Good effort from the Canucks to stick with Bruchanski, but he gets it right back. It's Ross, continues to stay with them. Chudley picks up this loose puck to Larkins. Up top, Bruchanski fakes, holds on to this puck side of the net for Chudley. That goal! Into the back of the net, Vandenbush! And finally, this Railers power play connects into the back of the net, worked around beautifully all the way onto the stick of the captain, and Vandenbush gives a stick tap to Chudley. Has great vision to find him. That goal brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools. And with 12:11 remaining, it's now only a one-goal game. A one-goal lead for a Canucks team that's just struggling to hold on all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you have some players pile up into the box. This Railer Express team is getting better and better with each power play sequence that they've had so far here in this third. And now you just got to worry about killing this one off if you're St. James. Simply put, to not give this Railer Express team any more momentum. That's going to be another penalty that'll be drawn as the disaster of players going into the box continues for this Canucks team. 2 minutes for a hold. We're back to a 5-on-3. These penalties aiding a potential Express comeback, but also they're warranted. There's been many times in this game where the refs have been letting it go, but they've just been so egregious these last few, where you can't help but not call them. If you're the refs, and Bruchanski scores! Back in the net! We're tied! 3-3! With the Railer Express faithful getting the loudest that they've been all game long, and rightfully so, as Bruchanski's had many chances in this game from the point. That ends up finding some space past number 30, and Logan ends into the back of the net, and with that, on the power play, which was 6.7% heading into this contest this afternoon, the Railers hadn't had any power plays until the third period, and they've been able to strike with precision and in elite fashion with the man advantage. It has been special teams that has played a huge role for them on the scoreboard in this period. With that goal brought to you by Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools once again, but it was Keaton Johnson, aided by Jeremy Shadenough, that got things started with a short-handed goal for this Railer Express team early in this period, and then it's been back-to-back power play goals, first from the captain and Nolan Vandenbush, and then from number 7 and co-defenseman of the year in Caden Bruchanski. As they're still announcing the first power play goal that this team had to cut the lead to 1. We're now tied as Vandenbush makes his way in once again. Big body check on Caden Osterman. Takes him out into the boards to Bruchanski again. That shot blocked up this time by the Canucks as given chase Caden Osterman. But it'll be rubbed out along the boards by Bruchanski as number 7 was there to meet him. Number 24, and Evan Chudley stretches us up. Onside, no offside on the play. Turned aside is Turner by Logan Enns. As Turner gets this puck back, he gets taken down hard into the ice. As this rims to the other point for Austin Campbell now. Sends this down low off the stick, but recovered again by Sellen. He circles up. Sellen fires just wide of the net. Off the backboards, Enns has to make save there at the side of his net with 30 seconds remaining. Parnell, that's Gage in the corner, being badgered hard. It's a high shot from the slot. Gonna not find the net. Rebound in front, scores! Jeremy Shadanoff! The forecheck, unreal to start off this comeback as he was credited with the primary assist. And an unbelievable play to take that puck away from behind the net and finding Keaton Johnson. Well, this time in a similar position where Keaton Johnson was when he scored the first goal of this game. A bit more to the right and a bit more inside, close to the crease. Finds that loose puck, puts it home. The Canucks are reeling. They call a timeout. We finally get to catch our breath as another goal brought to you by McCann Fasteners and Tools. What an afternoon it's been from number 9 and Jeremy Shadanoff. Multiple points now in this game. At least 2. As you could argue, 3-0. The worst lead in hockey, and for one of those reasons, it's the fact that we've seen many more teams in recent history blowing 3-0 leads. The most infamous one here in Canadian hockey was when our World Junior team lost after being up 3-0 in the gold medal game against the Russians for the defending champs in the St. James Junior Canucks, who were seemingly in control of this game heading into this period. Whatever the message was from Derek Gagnon in the dressing room between the periods in this most recent intermission, it's definitely worked. And I think that, honestly, the shorthanded goal that this team scores, the effort from Shadanoff and Keaton Johnson, might have been the turning point in this one. And then the number of penalties that end up being taken afterwards. Transcona able to capitalize on their power plays, which they haven't done much of in these playoffs. 6.7% on the man advantage heading into this game. Well, they got 2 of them now. And a shorthanded goal. Actually, 3 power play goals now at this point, as it's been a special teams explosion for this Railer Express squad, where now they have to look to kill off the penalty from their perspective onto the penalty kill, as Keaton Johnson ends up going into the box. What do the Canucks have up their sleeve here after calling a timeout? Coming out of the break to Griffin Height, sends that down low but off the mark for Tristan Arneson. This now ran past the skate of Height along the boards. Huge clear for this Railer Express squad. Turner lurking, turnover forced to Vandenbosch. Oh, glove save made by Enns. A whack afterwards, and oh no, could very well be seen another penalty coming up, but this going to the St. James Junior Canucks, I believe. And yes, it'll be Ashton Romanek going in the box, as we'll go to even strength 4-on-4 here for the next minute and 34 seconds. What's been one of the most entertaining games to call here so far in the playoffs. I'd say the most entertaining so far, as we will actually remain on a St. James power play. Face-off will just be in their end, so nothing comes out of that slash. The only thing that did come out of it actually was Romanek going to the box. Not sure how that isn't at least a penalty called in order to even strength 4-on-4. But the referees not giving the Canucks that penalty, which would have put them to 4-on-4. As Logan ends out of his own crease to play this look out as it got cut off by number 11 Johansson, but Phillips able to settle it down and get it right back below his own goal line in his own end. As this off the boards and out to Werfel. Kicks this out to Height, a bit behind 13, but he recovers it. Gets it back, looks, fires down low to Werfel. Tries to fire to Brady Thorsteinson, but this off the mark for number 14. Tried to split through the D, shut down, and this gets taken away and fired out all the way down into the St. James zone. Nice play by Vandenbush. Spins away after getting this puck down low. Spins away again as Michael Jackson flares over the speakers here in East End. It's the Canucks heading the other way. Caden Osman over to Height. That shot turned aside by Delarone. Squared up to make the save. With 10 seconds remaining on the Keaton Johnson penalty. So it'll be Nathan Turner, who is also in the box too for Transcona. Didn't catch that at first. Up until now. So 7:29 remaining in this game. Draw won by the Canucks in the dying moments of this power play for them. Height tried to get it up to Bruce. Instead, that was contested well. We're back to even strength. The Canucks tried to play it to the net, but instead gets to the point, held in as the Canucks work this across into the skates of Bruce. His shot, backhand, unable to get in on net. That pass to the point, cut off and intercepted by Johnson. Fresh out of the box, Johnson drops this back. Vandenbush, what a move! Oh, almost another beautiful toe drag, but denied by Ross. Huge defensive play from number 8. As, oh, what a move. Arneson tried to dance, but instead shut down as the Railers say no thanks to a dance partner at this point. Grindle stands up a Railer well in the neutral zone. It's Height. That long shot, or high shot as I should say, turned aside by the glove of Delarone. 6:29 remaining. What a period we've had. 4 unanswered goals from the home side. The third-seeded Transcona Railer Express against the defending champs, looking to put them down in this series 3-2, heading into be the first elimination game where St. James will be playing in the last 3 or 4 years, where if they ended up losing it, they'd be the ones going home. Transcona still with plenty of time left to add on more to this lead. 6:17 remaining. The Canucks still with plenty of time to come back. Trey Sullen from the corner ends up fanning on it, taken out by this Canucks squad. Sent in deep off the stick of Trent Thorsteinson. He gives chase, but Hal way there before him to get to that puck first. The Railer Express send this in deep out of his own net to play it. Logan ends up off the skate of Romanek. Turned over, Sullen plays this to Turner. Blocked up, but gets it back. Turner spins, fires into the corner. He goes. Sound like a whistle just went. Railers have to be careful there not to be in trouble with changing with what could have been a too many men. Michael Todoruk plays this around to Jace Larkins. That shot off the leg of Michael Todoruk in front, as it never got to its destination at net. Now this one does, as Ends just able to make that save with about 5:10 remaining now off the side of the net. That one goes as the Canucks able to regroup and recover this in the neutral zone. Kuksa dances his way through but can't get a shot on net. Bruchansky back to almost get this out, but not quite. It's Bruce who plays this down low. Cut off and intercepted by this Railer Express squad. Now onto the stick of Romanek. Circles up, shot there, trying to get his own rebound as the Canucks somehow just hold this in. What a play by Stewart. Gets gloved down by Bruchansky as Bruchansky up the left side powers his way through before sending it down deep took the beats along the boards there, most recently from Caden Osterman, who tries to chip this in off the boards. Back to Caden Stewart now, as Stewart sends it into his bench with 4:19 remaining. With a face-off draw coming up inside the Canucks zone, as we update you on the start of the other series that's happening today, the second of only 2 remaining in this Elite 8 round, as it's tied scoreless 0-0 with 10:09 remaining in Hawks and Jets at Iroquois Arena. Sure, make it down to that area to watch it, pay the fee if you're interested and you're by the Iroquois area. Of course, after this game ends, as we've been thankful to have you here this afternoon in what's been a wild third period of action, the Railer Express saying never, and coming back for unanswered goals to take the lead, down 3-0 heading into this period, as Griffin Height has that intercepted by Campbell. Played to D, now up to Shadenough. Most recent goal scorer kicked out to Sellen. Now to Johnson. That one-timer turned aside into the chest of Logan Enns. .325 remaining. Turner takes the draw against Werfel. 1 to Larkins for the Railer Express center and number 23. Sullen now working down low. Gets it to the slot for McClure somehow. What a pass from number 4. Had to make it through 2 Canucks to get it there. McClure can't fire that on net. Larkins just holds it in. Or no, unable to, as it's a delayed offside. So the Railers still haven't cleared. Sullen went back too early. This played over to Werfel. Fends off the check, and his shot blocked upon entry into the zone. Now this whacked out from the Railers, as Romanek dangles his way up. Gets taken out hard along the boards. Werfel follows up on it. Now Kyle Todoruk takes down number 21. Romanek in retaliation comes down and sends a Railer into the ice. Now he's got Chudley in a headlock. Down below in the corner as the roughhousing continues. Chudley and Romanek finally separate from each other with 2:31 remaining here. So Romanek will just be heading to the box. Not out of the game this time around, like we saw a few players in game number 3 at the end of it. Is this nearing the end of it very soon in regulation? 2:31 remaining. Will be 4-on-4 here coming up. It's Romanek and Chudley into the box. 2 coincidental penalties canceling each other out. This is played up. Jeremy Shadenough over to Vandenbush. Vandenbush shot denied by Enns. Now the Canucks looking to transition up the other way. Arneson cuts to the middle. His shot wide of the net. Arneson gets it back off the boards. Up to Phillips at the point. Across to Ross. Fake shot over to Arneson. That shot just wide of the net. Had some velocity on it though, that's for sure. So it didn't miss by much as well. Arneson tries to dangle his way through, shut down, held in by Phillips. The first goal scorer in this game for the Canucks can't get his shot through as this sent all the way down into the St. James end. Ross trying to dangle his way through, shut down off his skate off the backboards. It went wide. The Canucks able to just hold the line somehow, some way for Phillips. His shot blocked there by Larkins, whacked all the way out. Will this be for an icing? No. Enns touches it up first. And some controversy from the referees though, as they called the icing anyways. But Enns had touched it up around the boards, going to that corner. The refs, though, realizing their mistake. So they're going to bring this face-off draw to center ice. In the most neutral part of the ice, in neutral ice. In a game that has 80 seconds left in regulation, a minute 18 and counting now. As Enns goes to the bench, extra attacker out. Transcona tries to whack this out, but they can't. Werfel has that intercepted, and it's flipped out by the Railers. Vandenbush giving chase. Phillips, first one back on it. Gets this to Enerson. 1 minute left to play in this period. That shot just wide from outside by Nathan Turner. As he took his shot, no ice on the play since he was past the red line. The Canucks looking to push now. 48 seconds remaining. Caden Osterman, that shot low, turned aside by Delarone. Osterman almost follows up on the rebound. Vandenbush tried to clear it out, but can't. That shot high, out of play. It sounded like it went off of a helmet. It's out off of Bruchanski's helmet. What a warrior number 7 has been this afternoon. Of course, has a goal in this game. Jeremy Shadenough, he's been phenomenal with the multi-point game as well. As this one, but not out by the Railers. Down low, this into the slot off the skate of a Railer Express player. Romanek somehow holds this in. Clutch play at the line. Down low to Height. Along the boards, that up, but out for the Railers, giving chase. Vandenbush against number 6, and Anderson off the post for Vandenbush as he recovered that puck against number 6 with 7 seconds remaining. 13 sends it to 24 out of Stewart's reach, and what a comeback! What a statement again from Transcona as they go ahead in this series with a 4-3 victory. But we're not quite done yet. Fighting breaking out, and oh no! Shadenoff gets brought down hard to the ice. He lost his helmet too, as one of the linesmen on top of Larkins and Stewart. And it's just one of those games that had everything. Drama, a comeback, fights within that drama. Intense play until the very end as the Transcona Railer Express, they go up into a situation now where they haven't been in these past 3 seasons, where they played the Canucks in a playoff series. And that is up in the series for the first time. Well, since the beginning of this series, St. James goes down and now trails, and for the first time since 2018-19, the Canucks, if they lose their next game, that means they're going home as the 4-peat's still in play. But it looks like that clock could be striking midnight potentially, I think, for St. James in this game. It's just, it all starts with that shorthanded goal, and what an effort it was from the Railer Express. That gets the goal scoring going. Then the Railers are able to break through, draw some penalties, and on a power play that's been dreadful so far in these playoffs at 6.7% in the postseason. Transcona finds not 1, not 2, but 3 power play goals as it finally erupts to finish off the 4 unanswered goals they scored against the Canucks, which it stunned St. James. And you could see they just took more penalties afterwards. They call a timeout to try to reel themselves in. They get great chances until the end of the game, but Transcona just finding ways to lock down and bring what I would say would be their best period of this postseason so far. Not only that, but maybe their most important period of the whole season. As for the bracket now, it's Transcona. That goes up 3-2 against St. James. The next game in this series is going to be played coming up on Tuesday night at Abe McDonald Arena. G-Show Productions may have that game for you, everybody, while we're implementing a second broadcasting team. Stay up to date on our website for more information coming soon on that, as well as here on Uscreen on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. We could also be broadcasting Stonewall and Charleswood on Tuesday night. If that series goes to a Game 6, Stonewall needs to win today for that to be the case. Speaking of that game, we'll see if there's any score at this point, as there is not, with 6:07 remaining in that third period of action. But what heart, what determination, and proving everyone wrong in this Railer Express team. Talked about how huge it is to get the lead on them and you give yourself the best chance to win. Well, the Canucks did give themselves their best chance to win by going up 3-0. Capitalizing on breakdowns from this Transcona Railer Express squad. But the Railers prove that, hey, they have another gear and another side to their game, which is being able to come back, and come back they did in this game here this afternoon, down 3-0, scoring 4 unanswered. We're going to get into the players of the game here. First one brought to you by Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs here in the province of Manitoba. My player of the game for the junior Canucks, I'm going to give it to, I think, Trent Thorsteinson. Brady had a phenomenal goal off of his phenomenal pass, though. Thought that Trent was dangerous as this game went along. Sneaky with the chances he had, finding loose pucks. Just couldn't capitalize in the goal-scoring category, but made one of the best assists we've seen all season long. One of the best passes we've seen all season long, and sent it to who I believe is his brother and Brady Thorsteinson to put his team up 2-0 at that point. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, the player of the game sponsor for the losing side in this afternoon's game. As for Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, the winner's play of the game on that side of things here today. I'm going to give it to Jeremy Shadenough. This game doesn't go in the Railers' favor if it's not for his effort on that shorthanded goal and able to find Caden Johnson with a pass off of a phenomenal forecheck. He ends up scoring the game winner in this one, too. Huge performance from number 9 and Jeremy Shadenough, who he's been a highlight reel before, and his performance highlight reel here this afternoon. Big time in the Railer Express's most important win of the season. Now up 3-2 in this series with a chance to close things out on Tuesday night. Next game becomes their most important game, though, as this means nothing if you can't finish it off on Tuesday. The Canucks are still alive. You have a chance to finally slay the dragon, though, if you're Transcona, and put them to bed to end this dynasty's reign. Will they be able to do it? We'll find out on Tuesday night. We'll be back here for sure on Friday night for game number 7 between these two squads if it happens. Until next time, folks, I've been your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. Thank you to Terracos, Goaltenders, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools for sponsoring another edition of mmjhl Game Day. Thank you to you, the viewer, for tuning into this one and spending $5, the fee of admission. I hope you enjoyed it and hope it was worth it, mmjhl fans. By the way, 50% of the profits of your $5 goes back to the MMJHL, so goes back to a great cause, not just to us here at G-Show Productions. Until next time, everybody, we may see you for 2 games coming up on Tuesday. We may see you on Friday. We'll see you for all the Final Four and the finals, of course. But as for now, the Railer Express winning a thriller, 4-goal comeback in this third period, down 3-0 heading into it. The power play comes to life. Jeremy Shadenough, player of the game, big time in this victory, and this team just a big time victory all around. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and choosing G-Show Productions on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. Take care, and we'll see you next time.